I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless. Burning the bridge that keeps us. I'm here and I'm feeling exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance. Not the life I want to live, I want to take it all. Standing tall, fear I've weighed the person you are. Oh, break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
Hey everybody. Kendall, I have a phone call. I'm gonna mute and I'll be right back.
You what?
I have a phone call that I gotta take real quick. I'll be right back.
Hey, Nicole, how are you?
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Purple Purse, how are you, honey? My grandson is in here. He is starting to get his
Baseball game stuff on.
baseball uniform on, and he's going to a game tonight.
Yep.
I'm good. Me and Brandy's not feeling too hot today. She said she took that medicine, I forget what it's called, the one that's helping her with weight loss, and she said she changed her injection site because last week she wasn't seeing any reaction, or not reaction, but I guess not seeing any production from it. She didn't get any results. So she said she changed the injection site. And I don't know why that would make a difference, but she said obviously it does, because she changed it to her stomach and she's been nauseated all day. So but I don't know. The doctors don't want to pay for that medicine, but it's helping so many people lose weight. Insurance don't want to pay for it. It makes no sense because it saves so much money in the long run. I mean, it helps with, if you lose weight, you're, less chance of getting diabetes and heart disease and problems with your last chance of dying. It just seems like it would save so much money.
There's a ton of people in the world who died by fatness, actually.
There's a lot of people in the world that's died from fat.
Mm-hmm,
there is a lot of people.
There's a lot of.
There is.
50,000 people probably died at least a year just by fatness.
I've not heard anything bad about it. Like everybody that I know that has started taking that injection, they just swear by it. But
And if you're to do the special surgery for it, it's like a couple thousand.
you seem to know so much. Who do you know's had any kind of surgery for being fat?
I'll watch videos about it.
Oh, okay.
And like it's pretty sure it's 18,000.
That's what I was asking Brande. I was like, "Do you pay for that out of your pocket?" And she's like, "Insurance used to pay for it, but yeah, now their insurance quit paying for it." So she said it's like $275 a month. The only thing bad I've heard about it is, I guess it's like anything else though that you do for weight loss. You've got to change your lifestyle. And I guess the people that, or the one person I know that has had anything negative to say about it, was they lost weight on it. They lost a lot of weight on it. And then their insurance quit paying for it, and they couldn't afford to keep it up, and they gained their weight back and a lot more.
Yeah, like there's this guy.
Yeah, I have heard it makes people sick. Well, I mean, like Brandy's been sick all day.
And there is this guy who is going around now. I'm pretty sure he's probably doing that same medicine, and he lost like 200 pounds.
Yeah, I know, baby. There's a lot of people that's losing a lot of weight on it.
And
But I mean, like Brande, she's changed her whole way of eating.
there's another, and he was in a bad diet. He would sit there and eat all kinds of food all day. He could sit there and eat all day and still go hungry. Yeah?
Your mama's calling you, baby.
Yeah, right here.
I know. Amber, how much was that medicine that you started? That one that a lot of people take for diabetics. How much did you have to pay?
I took the pills, not the shot, so it's different pricing.
So my daughter says there's pills too. I see. I've only ever heard of the injections. Some people are paying $275 a month, and others are paying $25 with insurance. It's just not. It just saves so much money down in people's lives. But it's like I don't know that you could ever come off of it unless you're really determined to change your lifestyle. Y'all have fun. Mason, you win, baby. But Brande said she paid $25 a month when she first got on it. But I mean, think about it. It helps with losing weight. It helps with diabetic, your joints, heart disease. I mean, it looks like insurance would look at it that way. And I was also under the impression for the longest time that it was the same medication that, not that it was insulin, but that diabetics needed, because there was, saying there was a shortage of it, and that people that's got weight problems shouldn't be priority. The people with that diabetes should be first priority. But other people has told me that it's diabetics use it, but it's not. I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand what they were saying. So I know there's a lot of controversy about it. But I'm so glad y'all come back tonight. I just didn't want last night to run into 3 and 4 hours. Hey, 420. Oh, Brady, we can't be here 2.5 hours tonight, because I got to get up at 3:30 in the morning. But see, that's what I'd always heard, though. It was the medicine for diabetics, and that there was this controversy that about diabetics not getting it first, that there was a shortage, and there was a shortage because so many people with weight issues were using it, and they couldn't get it. So I'm just so confused. Oh, okay. I think my daughter started the one that starts with an O. She went to, and she's fluffy, but she's not even that overweight. And a friend of hers at work had her, they call it the fat doctor. They're going to go to the fat doctor. And she come home with this little bottle of stuff. And she's like, Mom, I can't sleep. And I looked at the bottle. I said, no, I'm sure you can't. That is pure speed. That's what we used to do in the 70s and 80s. That's speed. And she
Oh,
quit taking it.
the phentermine, I can't take it. It makes me rage in bed.
She said, I didn't know that's what they were giving me. And I was like, no wonder you can't sleep. Yeah, that one. The Ozempic. There's even a South Park episode about it. That's like my favorite show on TV is South Park. So are you done with your phone call, love?
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah,
Hey,
we just
Bossy.
had
Hey,
my
Lauren.
mother, y'all, I have a very toxic relationship with my mother, and she's crazy. And she is 82, 84, one of those. And we had a huge fight. Well, she called Katie today, or tried to pull Katie into it today. And Katie was like, "Not girl, I'm not doing this," because she already knew. And she's just, my mother's so hateful. She's just so hateful. And she's stressed. My brother has cancer, so she is extremely stressed about that. And I understand that, and I was trying to be understanding, and she got very ugly, and I went the fuck off. And I'm not playing this game with her. I'm just not.
Okay, Lauren, I get it now. Makes sense. I always wondered how it worked. What about it made it work?
Well, they're GLP-1 medications, and it's a GLP-1 hormone, and people who are lacking that hormone have extreme success on it. And so I am one of those people. So, because some diabetics don't lose weight, it just helps with the diabetes stuff. But
yeah, I'm just doing those. Like they have me on hormone blockers, like I was telling y'all last night, because my cancer was hormone fed. So even though I'm cancer free, I will be on hormone blockers until I physically go through menopause. And according to the doctors, I was nowhere near close. And still have me on steroid shots. So it just seems like, plus I have a thyroid issue now. So I'm just not ever going to be little.
these meds have been life-saving for me. I mean, I spent 8 months not being able to walk, and they attributed the AS to being part of my weight issue, and the weight issue being part of the AS issues. And then you had my knee surgeries and the just a whole mile of things. And they're like, well, we need you to lose weight, but you can't do it traditionally, because I can't do normal exercise. Like, I'm not even supposed to be walking anymore like that. And I love getting on a treadmill. I'm not supposed to do that because of the arthritis and the stuff going on in my knees and the AS. I can do a recumbent bike and swimming. That's it. And they're like, you're just not going to be able to do this traditionally. We were looking at surgery, and my endocrinologist was like, please, I'd rather you not do surgery. And I said, I have to do something. And he said, well, what about medication? And I said, I've done those stupid B12 shots and the phentermine, and it makes me a raging bitch. I can't take it. Mm-hmm. And he was like, well, no, actual medication. I didn't even know this was a thing. I mean, I had heard about the Hollywood weight loss drug. You know, I had heard stories, but I didn't know that it was a real thing. And he said, yes. He says, oh, look, I want you to try this. Let's try this. Let's see what it does. And then if that doesn't work, he said, I'll help, write up letters to get the surgery. But I think this is better for you. And it's been life-saving. I mean, I'm down 80 pounds. So
I don't know many people that's really had success with the weight loss.
Oh,
they lose the weight. They absolutely lose the weight. But I know 3. My Tyler's mom, she told us she was going in to have her gallbladder taken out, and she literally went in to have that surgery. She didn't want nobody to know. And then she started losing weight, and she would get, she's such a bitch. She would get on us about, y'all just need to start changing your way of eating. Look what I'm doing. I'm losing weight. And this whole time she had the weight loss surgery, not telling nobody. And now she's gained it all back and even more.
Well, and some do. Some gain it back, some don't. And I think it just depends on, you still have to make lifestyle choices. Yeah,
that's what I was saying while you was on the phone.
Even on these medications, I have to do that. And Kim says they are showing it helps with heart disease also. It's been a huge change. It does. It helps with heart disease. It helps with sleep apnea issues. And we think that I have sleep apnea. So I'm getting to do a home test on that. I'm supposed to call them today. Oops. I don't know. Did you tell them I took my shot last night and I've been sick today?
Yeah, I told them that you weren't feeling good today because you changed
I changed my location, and man, I have just not been functioning real good today.
See, Kim, I've not heard a success story. My ex-husband's sister had the lap band, and then when she got pregnant, they had to go in and loosen up the band because she needed to take in more calories for the baby. And after she had the baby, she didn't lose hardly any of that weight, plus gain more.
Oh wow, that's sad.
Yeah. It's like, I don't even know if my doctor would let me try it. I don't know.
Yeah, you have a lot. You would need to talk to your doctor and see. But because of your conditions, if they can improve it, your insurance may pay for it. Yeah, like Kim said,
most people don't know. I have a terrible time walking because when I went through chemo, I don't know if y'all know what a chemo burn is, but a lot of people that has breast cancer, they put them on what's called the red devil. If you ever look up chemo, and you don't even got to look up the scientific name, just look up the red devil and it'll tell you what it is. And it causes, in some patients, it will cause what they call a chemo burn. And most people get them in hot spots, like under your arm, in the crease of your legs and your groin, or, a hot spot. Not me. I get mine on the very bottom of my foot.
like
And
she
it
had
got
lightning hit her on the head. It just went straight through her body out her foot. It's the weirdest thing.
crazy. And it got, every time it would start, my treatment was once a month, and I would get the treatment. It'd take me 2 weeks to get over that initial. By the time I start feeling a little bit better, it was time to go in for another treatment. So, and then around 6 or 7 months is when this little thing started on my foot. And within 3 to 4 months, it was the size of a tennis ball on the bottom of my foot. And it would start healing a little bit. Then I'd have another treatment. It just got huge. And it ate like this big hole in the bottom of my foot. So when chemo was over and I beat the cancer, they did a skin graft. And they had to go in and take a little part out because it had literally died in my foot, this little spot. So they took that out, did a skin graft, and it was healing well. But it never healed correctly. You know what I'm saying? It's like the skin just was never right. And now that I went back to work, by the time I start hitting around hour 5 and 6, I'm almost in tears. By the time I get home around 8 hours, 9 hours, my foot is, well, it has. I've showed Brande. It's literally is bleeding. It's irritated the skin so bad. And I've tried for disability for a while, but it's just such a long process, and they don't see it as really a disability because there's so many jobs that you can get that's sitting down. I mean, but it's preventing me from going back in the truck. I can't do the truck.
Right. Yeah, I would talk to your doctor. Talk to your doctor and see if they'll help you. And there are new, and I follow this channel on. I'll drop it. Hold on, let me find it. Show you who I'm talking about. This channel here, she's always sharing all kinds of good information, and on the weight loss drugs and updates on just different things with the weight loss medications. And she was sharing here a while back that there are new drugs in the pipeline. Like within the next couple of years, there are even pill forms of these medications and other shots and just different things.
Did you know there was a pill form of this?
Yes. Ribelsis.
I see. Amber did it for, I don't know, a few months, and then she didn't like it because she figured it's going to be something she's going to do forever. You can barely get Amber to take an Advil when her head's hurting.
Yeah, the Ribelsis. I thought about doing it as a maintenance medication if I get my insurance to pay for it. But
see, Lauren, I just went to the doctor Friday, Brande? Yeah, Friday. And they said what's happened is where they took out the little piece that had died before they did the skin graft, that scar tissue has formed in there, and that it is pushing against, the way I took it, is pushing against some of the blood supply. So when I'm on my feet and there's the pressure and that scar tissue is pushing down, it's stopping the blood supply. And the skin on that foot is just literally breaking down. So now I've got my work schedule where I work a day, off a day, work a day, off a day, work a day, off a day. I have to have that day just to stop it from throbbing and wrap it and patch it and baby it. But Friday when I went, he talked about surgery, but I can't afford to be off work again for 6 to 8 weeks. The last time I had it done, he didn't want any pressure for, I think, the first 4 weeks.
Mm.
And I couldn't walk good for 12 weeks. It took me to be able to walk normal again.
Hopefully they can figure something out soon for you because it's getting crazy. Stevie, we're just chatting. We ain't even got nowhere yet. I was late getting in here because my daughter called just as I hit live. I literally hit the live button and she called. Or was like fixing it's like, seriously? And I forgot she told me she was calling me today. And because they had a lot going on yesterday. And I was like, oh yeah, she'll call me when she gets off work because she was still working. Put in her 2 weeks today. And I was expecting her to call me early today, figuring she quit, just gave her 2 weeks and was like, fuck you, I'm out of here, because they were being assholes or whatever, because she is a mini me. She has my attitudes. So I'm hoping that I've got some gossip I want to talk about, but I have to wait another day or so to see what happens with things. But, certain somebodies, and not anybody you guys hate. So, not the one y'all would like to see this happen to, but somebody else's little house of cards is falling. And I'm finding it quite funny to watch that karma train come barreling through and sink the Titanic.
I'm just waiting on the go ahead.
Stevie, I have a pleasant attitude 1,000% of the time. You're so lovely, Stevie.
She's changed kidnapping into fancy napping.
Can't help but laugh and laugh and laugh about fancy napping. I am so hung up on that. Just stop it. I'm seriously. It starts with a T. They're not on here. They've been on with me.
Long time ago.
And they were an ex-business partner.
Well, hell, you should just say the name.
Right. And by the way, I will probably y'all are gonna have to watch it at some point because I'm probably gonna be on Fancy's panel at some point because we are planning on laying it all out there. Stevie got it.
Fancy's gonna have to
unblock like 500 people.
Yeah, she's gonna have to let me in there. I got a lot to say. She knows I have a lot to say about that.
Unless we stream to both channels, I don't know. Her and I got to talk about it some more. But I think it will be for reasons unknown. No, I'm so sure, Stevie, that there are you are clueless as to what those reasons are.
Reasons unknown.
Of course, it'll be very therapeutic for her and I. Oh yeah, Cam, I will absolutely let everybody know.
We'll make banners. We'll have a parade the day before.
Look, and I mean, and as far as I'm concerned, Kendall has free reign to go wherever she wants to go with the information she's got. Man, I didn't even get to tell you the information today.
I was going to ask if you can stream it so us blocked can partake.
Yes, I could probably do that.
We'll see if we can. If we can't do that, we'll see if we can call in a favor. Can you unblock our people for just one day?
Or I'll have my phone on speakerphone and have Kendall over here running live, and I can be asking questions.
Ask Fancy if I can stream her live with permission.
I never ever requested money on her Cash App, getting satisfaction that her notifications were blowing up and her thinking she was getting donations. AK, according to Fancy, I was money laundering. Oh, was that you, Stevie?
Yeah, it was Stevie.
Oh my God. Oh, I can't.
Well, it's like Sarah that time when all that come in about the porn. Sarah was up there on that panel saying that I was stealing identities.
Right. Yeah. All of a
Stolen
sudden, me
identities.
and you were stealing identities. And I'm like, that is not identity theft, you dumbass. I can't believe all of a sudden we were guilty. Me, you, Harley Kim. Oh, there were some other names. We're guilty of identity theft.
Identity theft.
I messaged Veda immediately and said, "Look, I'm being accused of identity theft. I did not steal your identity. Somebody took your fucking YouTube user." She's like, "Who is saying that's
What?
identity theft?" And so I told her, and she was like, "Are they crazy? That is not identity theft." I said, "You and I know that, but evidently they have no clue."
Oh goodness.
Yeah, that we did.
The good old days.
Guilty of porn bombing like that, it would have been at a more appropriate time.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been there. But the night that I talked to her on the phone, I was like, "Come on, Fancy. If I'd have done that, those two little wee wees would have had a pink hat on and blue eyeshadow." She laughed. So give me some credit.
Like, really?
I'm better than that. And if I'd have done something like that, not only would it have been AI generated and you would have known who they were, but I wouldn't have picked the time that they did it. That was bad timing. Yeah, I get that, Stevie, but this is something that
We may try to do it. I'm sure we
they
can do
need
it
to do together. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure a way out to do it that way, because I want my people comfortable too and to be able to hear the story. And what I may be able to do is just let Kendall stream it. That way, because I do want y'all to be able to be there and have comments and.
Yeah.
What the, I'm not. You're so bad, Stevie. Stevie, behave.
Stevie,
I've got to make the video.
our
that
trouble child. Where's Brande? And
we
Boston.
need Rebrand and we need Boston.
our trouble children. We were talking about you three last night after we got off the live. How funny y'all are and how we're always telling y'all to calm down. I said, but gosh darn, I love them. And she's like, I do too. I said, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Oh, it's so bad. Alrighty, so
there's a lot of respectability that y'all keep. I get it because of us. So I respect that y'all try to hold back. We don't expect anybody else's opinions to change just because we're trying to do something. That doesn't mean you guys have to.
The name change, we changed it. When did we change the name? Thursday? Yeah,
I think so. Mm-hmm.
Thursday or Friday of last week. It's a whole new direction. There's a video. Hold on. I'll drop it so you can watch it. Oh Lord, my stomach, y'all.
Oh God, am I involved in it, Stevie? I ain't been nowhere to be involved in nothing. I ain't been doing nothing but working.
I'm like looking all over going, wait, where is it? It's literally right in front of me. Oh Lord. Is it a whole other area of TikTok, Stevie?
As I was saying, what I need to know now. I'm trying to be good. I ain't been nowhere being bad.
We love you, Stevie.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were at, let me get my phone. And y'all, Kendall even did us a solid. And she went and redid the wording, not redid the wording, put it in more layman terms where we didn't have those mean, stupid words that make us sound tongue-tied like we're idiots. So that we can understand it just a little bit better.
Okay, Stevie, just hit me up afterwards. I can't for long. I gotta be up at 3:30. But I can't go to sleep now until I know. Yeah, I just took the the autopsy and all these mean words that was killing Brandy last night, and threw them through um, GPT chat and AI, and took all the mean words out and made it into more of a layman's term. And it actually makes it a lot simpler to understand.
Okay, so we're going to go back to using. We have
We're on number 8.
number 8, and we need our little trusty, handy dandy diagram here. Hold on, I move it where I can freaking see. Okay.
We're going to have to work on how to get these diagrams, though, that I put all this time into a lot clearer, a lot more
Yeah,
clear.
because they're
is it
really good, but there is a little bit of a blur to them.
Mm-hmm.
So we're at number 8, guys. We're right here. And if you weren't here last night, make sure to go watch episode 1. We did the left side of the body and talked about that damage. And there are some videos that coincide with Nick's testimony of that and court of the body. So when we're going to continue on the right side and finish it up tonight. So now we're at number 8. So and that's this one right here. Cut is somewhat vertical, 1 3/4 inch on the skin surface. Center of the wound is 9.5 inches below the top of the head and 3.5 inches to the right of the spine. Sharp upper end and blunt lower end. Wound direction is back to front, right to left, and downward. Wound track is 4.5 inches deep, passes through skin, fat, and muscle. Were we starting straight with this, or did you have something else to start with? I'm sorry, I did not even ask.
No. You're good.
Okay.
You're good.
So
we'll do about 4 of these, and then we'll hit another video.
Okay. So that one is that one. And so it really doesn't seem that it hit anything.
Because she was a chunky woman, and where it went in at, up at the top, there would have been a lot of flesh right in that area.
And this isn't an area with anything vital. I mean, right up in here, he would have hit some arteries.
An
the
artery,
artery right there. So number 9 is this one right there, and right side of the upper back. Cut is diagonal, 1 1/8 inch on the skin surface. Center of the wound is 11 1/4 inches below the top of the head and 3.5 inches to the right of the spine. Sharp left above to the side and sharp below and in the middle. So it's sharp. Hold on. Sharp left above and to the side and sharp below and to the middle. So it just went sharp all the way down. No blunt part to that. That's just odd. Okay. Wound direction is back to front and slightly left to right. Wound track is 4.5 inches deep, passes through skin, fat, and muscle. Another one that just kind of, I guess it basically just went in between those ribs.
I think he probably got to the rib and pulled back out.
Yeah, possible.
Because those ribs are a lot closer together up there. And since it went in diagonal instead of like east to west,
I mean,
vertical.
It could have been like right in between the two, just slightly turned, where it just kind of went in between slightly. Your ribs are closer. There's not enough fat on the back itself for it to not hit some of that. So I think it would have just gone in between.
Yeah.
Okay, number 10, which is this little bitty one right here. Right side of the upper back. Cut is diagonal, 1 1/8 inches on the skin surface. Center of the wound is 10 3/8 inches below the top of the head and 4 5/8 inches to the right of the posterior midline of the body. Sharp left toward the midline and sharp below and to one side. Wound direction is back to front and left to right downward. Wound track is 5.5 inches deep, passes through skin, fat, and muscle. Now, number 11, which is this one right here. Right side of the upper back. Cut is diagonal, 1 1/8 inches of the skin surface. Hold on, I gotta find number where number 11 continued. There it is. Center of the wound is 9.5 inches below the top of the head and 5.5 inches to the right of the spine. Sharp left toward the midline and sharp below and to one side. Wound direction is back to front, right to left, and downward. Wound track is 3 inches deep, passes through skin, fat, and muscle. That's a pretty fatty part of the body right there.
Yeah, that little line on that diagram should have been over a little bit to the left.
Yeah, because it's probably more to the left or the right. You mean right here? Right about where the arrow is at?
Yeah.
Okay, so you want me to do one more, or are we going to do a video?
You can do a video. You can do a video. What was our next video? I think it was on 5 or 6. Try 6. I think we did 5.
I think we might have been 5.
Okay, try 5 then. Even if we did watch it, we watch again. They're not that long.
Did she scream or holler or?
Yeah, she did.
What was she saying?
First she said help, and then she didn't recognize who I was. So she
Okay.
said, who are you? And then,
She said, "Who are you?"
yeah,
Okay. And she didn't recognize who you are. And she says, "Help." And then what does she say?
and then she called up for Gypsy, but Gypsy didn't do anything.
Okay. She hollered for Gypsy.
Yes,
And did she holler for Gypsy once, twice, 5 times,
3 times.
3 times? And what was she saying? Can you tell me how she said it?
She pretty much yelped it.
Yelped it?
This is like,
Gypsy. Okay.
yeah, she was loud.
And what did you do when she did that?
It didn't stop me from keep on going.
Okay. You just kept stabbing her?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any reason that we would think that maybe you stabbed her more than 4 times?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Now, did Gypsy come in and stab her?
No.
Gypsy never stabbed her?
She couldn't do it. That's the
Okay.
reason why she asked me to.
Okay. Did you try to get Gypsy to come in and stab her?
No, I would have never done that.
Okay. So when you say 4 actual stabs, so those are the ones that went in deeper?
Yeah.
Was there some little ones? Or
There might have been, because the truth is I counted the ones that went in deep. I didn't count if there's any other ones.
okay. So if there's any other ones, you just didn't count those because they didn't go in as deep.
Yeah,
Okay. But you know that 4 of them went in deep.
yeah.
Okay. Do you know where those 4 deep ones were?
Uh,
Are you counting the one in the back of the neck or not in that 4?
no.
Okay, so the back of the neck would be something different.
Yeah, it's completely separate.
Okay, so the 4 that went in deep, do you remember where those went at on her body?
I honestly can't remember because I think it's just a blockage because of the guilt.
Okay.
Okay, maybe we did.
Plus- No, she's not been behaving. She don't know how to behave. Yeah, I think we watched that one too. He's I know he did a vicious thing. I mean, I get it. But it was when she was like, "Did Gypsy come in?" He said, "Oh, no. No, I wouldn't have let her." I mean, he's just so still protective of her. Okay, the next one will be a good one to play before you start again.
Okay.
Because there, and I didn't clip this part, but I was watching it today, and I think they did him. I mean, the whole trial for him was a misjustice of, the way they did him. But I watched a bit of the trial today, and I forget who's on the stand, but the state is saying something about blood splatter, and the science, and the guy on the stand was talking about the science of blood splatter. Well, we know there wasn't that there wasn't any blood splatter. I mean, there was some blood, but we don't hear anything about blood splatter. We do a little bit later on his clothes, but not at the crime scene. But the state had the guy on the stand today to describe what, on the clip I was watching today, to describe what blood splatter is and the science behind it. I just feel like that's wrong, being that there wasn't. It gave the jury the impression that there was, how the way that they were talking about it. And there
Yes,
was no blood.
Connolly, we are live again. It's part 2, finishing up last night's. All right, here's video 6.
Something that we didn't talk about that we probably should is, I've worked cases where people have stabbed people to death before,
Okay.
kind of like this.
Yeah.
And usually when they do, they don't just get cuts, but they usually get blood on them. Like you get blood on your clothing or on your hands, or
Yeah.
you know how probably when you were stabbing her was blood kind of splattering a little bit or anything?
I didn't pay attention exactly where the blood. I mean, I could actually see like where the back of the neck was. I
Okay.
could see blood coming out of there,
Okay.
and I could see blood coming off the knife. But other than that, I didn't really know exactly where. It was.
Did you get any of her blood on you?
Yes.
And how did you clean that up?
I didn't even clean it because we were in such a rush. I didn't even clean.
So you had blood on your body when you had sex with Gypsy?
No, I had it on what the heck is it? I actually remember what I wear.
Okay, what did you wear?
I wear it was like a, what the heck is it called? I think, I'm not sure if that's the correct term, but I think it's called a spring jacket, almost like. It was
Okay.
black,
Okay.
and I also had a black shirt on as well as black pants.
Okay. What, did your black shirt have anything on it?
Yeah.
Or just plain black?
It had clowns on it.
Oh, okay. Was it like a band or a...
No, it was they pretty much looked like crazy clowns, pretty much.
Okay. And then you had black pants on?
Yep,
And what kind of shoes did you have on?
white shoes.
Are those shoes here?
No.
No. They're at the house?
Yep.
Okay. And so you had the black jacket, the clown shirt, black
Yeah.
clown shirt, black pants, and tennis shoes.
Yep.
And what color were the tennis shoes again?
White.
White. Okay. Did you have any jewelry on? Any earrings, necklaces?
No.
Don't look like you. You don't have your ears pierced, do you?
No.
No. Okay.
In the court, in the trial, they actually show the white shoes. And I couldn't understand why the shoes didn't have a lot of blood on them. But then when I was thinking about that, he says he was on top of her, which means he would have been on his knees and his shoes would have been behind him.
Right. They were probably protected.
They were very protected. Yeah.
Blanket. I mean, what blood was on them probably would have come off of him or the knife when he walked away.
Or his
would-
cut. Yeah. I seen somewhere that I
Yes,
don't know if
reprint.
it, that he said he wore the clown shirt to scare her. Yeah, dressed to look scary. But I heard it. I heard it somewhere. I don't know if it's fact or just somebody said it, but that he planned to wear that particular shirt because she was scared of clowns and wanted to scare her. But I don't know where it come from. I can't back that up. Right, he was resting on his feet. Yeah,
All right. So let's add this back up here again.
it's just dressed all in black and then wore bright white shoes. They were so. sophisticated.
These two were not criminal masterminds. It is obvious. Glaringly obvious. And I'm sorry, I've got frog in my throat. All right, we are on number 12. Right side of the middle back, cut as diagonal, which is, hold on, it's this one right here. Right there, right at the bottom of the rib cage. Cut is diagonal 1 inch on the skin surface, which isn't a very big cut. Center of the wound is 15 and 5/8 inches below the top of the head and 6 1/4 inches to the right of the spine. Sharp left toward the midline and sharp below to one side. Wound direction is back to front. Wound track is at 7 inches deep. Cuts the skin, fat, and muscle of the body wall. Cuts into the right chest cavity. Penetrates 1/4 inch into the back surface of the lower lobe of the right lung. So this one hits the lung as well.
Mhm.
Now we go to 13, which is here. Far right side of the upper back, superior to the right axilla. But this shows it on the arm. So this would have been, what is this, up underneath the arm?
Yeah, that was the one I said a while ago that should have been over.
Okay, so it should have been more like right here.
Because when I put the stuff in AI, here's where I messed up, and y'all got to understand. I'm just learning this software. I know a lot about AI, but the software's new. Is I put in her weight, her height, and the description of all of the wounds, but I didn't change the size of the body. You get what I'm saying? Like the outline
Right.
of the body should have been a bigger woman. I'm
Yeah.
learning.
This is the one that, and I think I have the picture. I'll look here in a second. That is right here on the side of the body, which
Yeah, it would
would
definitely
make
not
sense.
been
Where
under
it's
the
on the
arm.
arm would be like right there on the body. So
Yeah.
it says far right side of the upper back superior to the. I already read that. Cut is vertical, 3/4 of an inch at skin surface. Center of the wound is 9 inches below the top of the head and 9 3/4 inches to the right of the spine. Super upper end, and sharp lower end.
No, it would have changed the skeletal size, but the fat would have changed. This wouldn't have been under the arm. It would have
Right.
been a little bit more.
On the
Yeah, I
side.
get that this. Yeah.
One direction is back to front and slightly right to left. Wound track is 4 1/4 inches deep, passes through skin, fat, and muscle.
I've just got to teach myself this new software because it's. I kept finding stuff. I was on the phone with Brande the other day, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's got this and it's got that." And oh gosh, it's got. I was like a kid at a candy store.
Okay, so that's all on this diagram, huh? The others are on the neck diagram.
Yeah. Go to the neck.
Okay, so
I didn't do the hands. The hands are hands, and I didn't get to, and I wanted to. I just ran
well, I
out of time.
have those. I'm gonna pull those up because I do have
Okay.
those from the original autopsy report where they draw it.
Yeah. I mean, I really couldn't change anything about that.
It's like, wait
I
a
guess
minute,
I
I never
could.
put that to myself. Is this one? Let's see. What's this? That's the one I want to show. Okay. So real quick, I want to show. I have to move these and get back to the StreamYard thing where I can see. Stop screen share. That's it. Okay, so that one that we were just showing where the diagram shows it on the arm is kind of what it looks like. This here is from the autopsy report. So the wound that we were talking about just then would have been this one, huh?
That's probably why AI put it
No,
where
this
it
is
did.
14. This says 14. Stab wound number 14. So that wouldn't have been that one. I was thinking it was.
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind. Just kidding.
How deep was that? How deep did number 14 go?
Number 14. Let's see. Let me find. 14 went.
I despise my mother too, Rebrand. I mean, most of y'all know my story, and I couldn't imagine it either.
4.5 inches deep. 4 1/4 inches deep. Rebrand says, I just can't fathom sitting in the next room, hearing that going to your mother and not breaking down. Oh, this is going to be bad. I absolutely can understand it. I can see that it would have been something I would have done. Sadly. However, I've always been brazen enough to do shit myself. But I think that's why I sympathize with Gypsy so much and still take heat for that, because I can see.
Yeah.
I can just, I don't know how to put it in words. I have a very toxic relationship with my mother, very toxic. And had this been something that I would have put into play, I can see that I would have let it happen.
Well, I was telling you the other night when we were on the phone that I never
Yes, collectiveness.
I
This is
never, thought about murdering my mother, but there was times when her addiction got so bad and she was using me. I'm sure most everybody here knows my story. That she was using me to get her narcotics, and I would go in her room in the middle of the night and I would sit to watch her chest move because I was afraid she was going to die. And at the time, it was like I it's a weird place to be because I would hope her chest wasn't going to rise, but then be scared at the same time if I didn't see it rise. And I can't even put into words how I even felt, but it would have been a relief in one way if she just went out that way. But on the other side of it, it was still my mom. But I
I
do remember looking at her chest thinking, God, I just don't want it to rise. Like, just be done. Just be done. But I couldn't have done it.
and here's I'm gonna lay myself a little open. I was talking with Dave the other day when my mom and I had this big fight. And when I went through the therapy, and I have gone through massive amounts of therapy for the abuse and things I went through growing up, one of the things I had to do, and at the time we were going to church real heavy, and I went to my pastors and I said, we teach our children, and the Bible says to respect your parents. I don't know how to give my mother respect. I don't know how to keep that toxicity at bay and still respect her. I just don't know how to do it because I don't want to be respectful to her. She doesn't deserve that respect. And they had told me sometimes just keeping them on the outside and keeping the distance is the respect. Well, when mom went off on me the other day and the things that she was saying, I was on the phone with David and I lost my cool. I flat out, thank God I'd already walked out of Walmart and not done this in Walmart because I was triggered. I was so very triggered by the argument. And, she said that I never give her respect and I never, all these things. And I'm like, it's really hard to respect and trust and want to have that mother-daughter relationship with the woman who stood on the front porch when you were molested by your uncle and blamed you when you were 8, And so I lost my cool. I went off. Total meltdown moment. And I got quiet and I told David, and of course, the man's been married to me all these years, and I'm like, I'm sorry. You didn't need to hear that. And he's like, no, you need to get it out because I've never told her that. I have never gone at my mother and called her out for her lack of protecting me like she should have and blaming the child. And that is why when I hear other people blame Gypsy for the things her mother was doing, it's very triggering for me because she's a kid. She was a kid. Is she responsible now? Absolutely. She's responsible now. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. At some point she's got to take ownership and heal herself and change those behaviors. But as the child who the adults never protected, it's very triggering for me, very triggering. And having us do getting all of this and working through all of this and then having this fight with my mother, it was bad. It was super bad. I can totally see where Gypsy could just sat there. I can totally understand that.
I've always said that I will always fight for her childhood. And a lot of people think that means of what the crap that she's doing now, or that I support the murder and all of that. And it's not. It's the child when she had no choice. That child that had no voice.
And Rebrand, I can understand that part. I can. There was something that Nick said and listening to this interview that I had not ever, I've heard it, but it never was like the aha moment. But when he explained to that detective that he figured she picked the knife, and this is the way to do it because she would bleed fast and would die quicker.
He even said that the more holes he put in her, the faster she would die.
Right. And I truly think these two were just so incapable.
And then to know that
the brutality.
And then to know that those few days that they had together after DeeDee was gone, that they sat and talked about DeeDee in a good way. Because Nick says, I didn't know until, he had already done this, that she was a good woman and had done a lot of accomplishments. So that tells you Gypsy sat and talked about the good things with him, because that made
I
his
think that
guilt
is
and his
what is
remorse
so
even worse.
confusing about the whole case. Because even when you listen to her now, she is still pretty defensive of her mother, and just says her mother was sick, and it just baffles me. It just baffles me. This whole I think that's why people will continue to talk about this case forever, because it just doesn't. It is a round peg we're trying to put into a square hole, and it is impossible.
Yeah. Like, if you blame Gypsy for what was going on when she was an 8, 10, 12-year-old child, and I know like sexual molestation is something completely different, but if you're blaming Gypsy for what
Thank you,
her mother
Lauren. That
did
is super sweet.
at 8, 10, and 12, then are you going to say that to the same age little girl who was molested by family and they want to blame her? Like Brandy's talking
See,
about.
and that's why it's very triggering for me. And I've got to have this conversation with Fancy, because I have not had this part with her yet, because it's just a hard conversation for me to have. I have shared my story publicly.
You just shared recently stuff with me that
Right. Because I'm fixing to have this talk with my kids, right? Because we have decided this is something my kids need to know now. Before, it was when I shared the story, it was usually in groups of women who were going through abuse and different types of things, trauma that they needed help with. And my story was something we used in therapy. And so, I've done it. I have done the story to 300 women at one time. And so I have no problem sharing my story. However, it still triggers me all these years later. And I'm being that I've got to share it to my kids, it's kind of freaking me out a little bit, because I don't want them to. I wanted to shield my children from that. They're all old enough now to understand, late 20s and early 30s. It's time they know. They need to understand some things. And so I shared with some of that with Kendall the other day, and she's like, "Oh my God.
Like, why did I know this?
Didn't understand." And so
I thought my childhood was bad.
like, the thing with my uncle is still one of those things that's very raw for me. Like, my mother and I had a huge fight when the man died, and she couldn't understand why I couldn't sympathize that her brother died. Good. I had no love lost for the man, none. And they excused him and excused him and excused him for his behavior, because he'd been in and out of jail and prison in all his life since he was, I think the first time he went to juvie, he was 10. So he had been in and out of the system and trouble all of his life. And my grandmother just pat him on the head, and it's just Richard, just let him go. Well, fuck that. That's not okay. Not for an 8-year-old child that was just abused. Fuck you. So when I hear people say those things about Gypsy, it's very triggering. But at the same time, I see what she's doing now, and I'm like, Gypsy, wake the fuck up. Stop it.
She's not breaking the family.
The generational curse she's not breaking. No.
She doesn't realize. I don't think she's come to. She doesn't see it that way. But as far as her being spoiled, yeah, I believe she was spoiled. But guess who else was spoiled? I was spoiled. My dad worked in the mines. He was up in management by the time that I come along. My 3 older brothers, there's a big age difference. I've said this before. I was a change of life baby. I had the 4-wheelers. Our weekend sport with my dad was horses. So I had the horses. One of my birthday presents was a horse trailer to match my dad's truck, which was going to be my truck when I turned 16. So on the outside, I was a very spoiled child. On the inside, by the time I come home from school during the day, my dad was at the mines. He got home around 1 o'clock in the morning. So he was asleep when I got up to go to school. So I spent every evening with that demon who gave birth to me, and she hid so much from him. But as far as the neighbors and the people in the church and my other friends that I had at school, I was the one that had all the toys. I was the one that, had all the hip stuff. My dad made sure I had it. So I can't even go by throwing it at Gypsy that she got to do trips and she got spoiled because
Oh, I was absolutely rotten. I'm the
I
youngest
was
of
spoiled
six.
as could be.
I'm the youngest of
That
six. The
that
age
that does not excuse the abuse
right.
and what we had no control over.
Right. I was extremely rotten. The youngest of six kids. There's a 12-year age gap between me and the other children, the youngest of the other children. My mother's only daughter. My dad had two other daughters. And they were all pretty much grown. My daddy had an amazing job where my brother's dad did not. And so I had everything. Like my daddy, I had a moped and 3 vehicles sitting there that daddy had done work for people and they would pay him with vehicles or whatever that I had to pick up before I was ever even 16. I had keys to them. I drove them all over the place out at the lake. I mean,
I was so spoiled. I was so spoiled when I was 13. My dad didn't like it because I was riding 4-wheelers in the winter. This is how spoiled I was. He went and got me a little Volkswagen, a little Beetle Volkswagen. And we had trails all over the woods where we would ride 4-wheelers and ride the horses. And those trails were big enough for a little Volkswagen. And he fixed me up this little broken down Volkswagen and taught me how to drive this little 4-speed. So in the wintertime, I could ride with my little Volkswagen, little Beetle, all in the woods. We would tump that little thing over and we'd get out and tump it back over. That thing went and went and went and went. So that being spoiled thing, that don't mean nothing. Just because she did the trips doesn't mean nothing. She had no control over that stuff.
Lauren
She went
said
along
it's
with
like,
it because that's what she was told to do.
Lauren says it's like judging someone's life based on what they post on Facebook, which doesn't point to the daily life or anywhere close to the full picture. 100%. This right here, let me just tell you, Lauren, you were in my head. This is the whole argument I had with my mother over her judging somebody that she does not fucking know. And this person literally said, I think it's time that you share the story with your children. And my mom said they needed to shut the fuck up. It's none of their business. I know who they are on Facebook. Well, that's what our whole argument was over. And
none of us know what goes on behind closed doors when no one's looking. And the difference in me and the way that I look at Gypsy is I had a dad that was there every weekend. Every weekend. Like I didn't see him during the week, but every weekend, he was off from work. I was home from school. Life was okay. I had friends that I got to leave my house because I always said school is my sanctuary. I got to leave and go to school. That kid, even at these vision cons, when the kid's in her, 18, 19, 20 years old, and they're saying, oh, look, she's at vision con and she didn't have a life. Her mother's still freaking standing right beside her. And let me tell you the stuff that I did when I went to those type of things when I was that age. I had on the skimpy little costumes, dressing up like anime with all my friends and having fun. Nope, not her. She's got her mother's hand. That's not a life. That's no life.
So I don't know which number is 15 because it's not on here. Or 14.
14, I think, is the hand. Is it not? Or what is the one on the side? What number is the one on the side?
Right. 14 is right chest, 2 stab wounds. So I guess that's 14 and 15.
I thought 14 was the finger.
Mm-mm. No, hold on. Let me go pull that other one up. Where's it at?
Oh my goodness, Ruby.
14, it shows as one of the ones on the side. But I don't see 15 on any of that.
I don't think she was brutalized either. I think she was very manipulated by her mother of this is just normal. It is normal to do this stuff. And when you don't know any different, how can you tell someone what's going on when you don't know any different? And I did believe that DeeDee tried to give her everything materialistic that she could at all means, whether she was taken from other sick children or she was taken from, the stars. Or I think she tried to give her as much as she possibly could, but the one thing she didn't give her is a normal childhood. Mental abuse is, I'm not saying that physical abuse is not serious. We all know it is. But you can heal from that. Mental abuse, I still deal with. There's still things,
I
like Brandy's even talking about, there's
I
still
have,
things that trigger me.
you know that saying when we're kids and they tell us sticks and stones will break our bones, but words will never hurt us? That's the biggest lie we tell our children. I refuse to say that to my children or let my kids say it to their children, because those bruises and those breaks go away.
Mhm.
That mental and emotional crap doesn't go away. And it does such horrible damage to us
Yeah.
that it can be impossible to heal from. It's
Now,
hard to heal from. So to
So-
me, the stuff that Gypsy went through is worse than physical abuse. It just is. And people aren't going to convince me otherwise. They're just not. And I, and I'm not one that's going to sit and argue that constantly with people, because people are going to believe what they believe, right? And
yeah, I'm not trying to change anyone's mind. I have a different view on it because I lived some similar situations and nowhere near to the degree that I believe that she went through. Now, where I start having issues at with her is when she starts getting to a certain age and she can take 2 years to plan this. And it wasn't just plan this. She knew enough to tell the detective, I need an attorney immediately. She knew, I mean, they had researched certain things, like how to do this and how to do that. I believe in the 2 years that it took to plan this should have been 2 years to figure out a way to get out of this. Now, I know her story is nobody would have believed me. My mom had these papers that said that, that she was mentally challenged and all of that. And I believe that's where the investigating 2 years of how can I free myself besides doing this. And even the excuse that I tried to leave and they come and got me and brought me back, figure out something else. You're over the age of 18. And that's where I can't defend that. No, see, I mean, and this is again why I love this channel, because that's where I think that I will agree to disagree, because I believe what we're seeing today, exactly the behavior we see today, is because of what she went through. She's still craving that attention, still taking these free things that are given to her, going on live and getting free gifts, just because it's, I believe what we're seeing is literally a result of it's all she's ever known. You there, Brandy?
yeah, I'm here.
Okay, your thing was making a different thing.
I'm frustrated with the fact that how it's got these worded, and I'm trying to find the wound. And I know you did all these wounds.
Of course, Amy. I love it that we can have difference of opinions. I'm not trying to change anyone's mind.
What only thing I wish, Amy, is that I absolutely ask questions. I wish that people would let go of the serious hate that they have for her personally now, and not be placing it on the child that grew up the way that she grew up to create what she is. You can hate her now and everything about her now, but
and
that
she makes
isn't
it
who
easy.
She does.
And that's not even who we're defending. We're not defending who and what she is today. I do believe it's a result of not getting the right type of therapy, not understanding how bad her problems are, but it's more us defending the little girl that had no choice in it whatsoever.
Yes, Ruby, you're right.
No, I don't want this channel to ever be that y'all are going to think that we're going to be upset for y'all for feeling different. I'll never come
I'm-
at you for feeling
We're
different. In
not going
fact,
to be
I'm
in echo
open-minded.
chamber.
Yeah, I even am very open-minded to hear other people's take on it, because me and Brandy's got a very different take on it. I would love a real psych evaluation on her, but see, here's the thing with that. She'd have to be honest about it. She'd have to be very honest about it. And I don't believe that she even understands. I think she thinks what she's doing is normal.
Okay, so this is Amy. Amy says, if y'all were wrong about Fancy back in the day, and then y'all were both wrong about Tori and Mama Dukes, they pulled the wool over your eyes. But what are the odds that y'all might be being swindled by Christy and Gypsy too? Well, I mean, that's always a possibility, right?
Yeah, people can surprise you. People can surprise you. I know that Christy is blamed for a lot of things way before I was around. But I
and
know,
I'm not upset by the question at all, Amy. So don't even think I am. I'm not.
No.
It's an honest question.
My relationship with Christy is the things that she gets accused of is that she's all in it for the money. And I'm going to let this little secret out that most of y'all don't know.
Because we were told the other day, and I'm like, can we share that?
I already knew it. I've known it for months. She had told me a long time ago. The money that was made off of the other shows,
the first two shows,
yeah, it was all given to Gypsy. They didn't even take their part. It was all
Christy
Gypsy.
didn't pay for the first two shows, so
Yeah,
Christy's not for the money like everybody thinks.
Christy has never asked me one time to go post anything. She's never asked me to go after anyone. I went after Fancy before I even had any kind of friendship with them whatsoever, before I'd ever spoke to Gypsy, before I'd ever spoke to Christy. In fact, I wasn't against them or for them. I was sick of hearing their names. So it's like my feelings towards Gypsy's childhood and this murder has nothing to do with how I feel about them. But I know a lot of things that Christy is accused of, she's never asked me to do. A lot of this stuff what's that girl's name? The Katie girl without a crystal ball or whatever. Yeah, whatever that one. Like, she's a bunch of complete bullshit. Because I know the same stories that she's over there telling, and she's twisting the hell out of them. Big time twisting the hell out of them.
I'm going to remove this while we're finished talking about this. Here, and as far as Gypsy's concerned, let me break these up in two, because they're two separate people, right? I don't keep Christy and Gypsy in the same box. They're two separate entities. And as a matter of fact, I haven't had any conversations with Gypsy since she's been out of prison.
And I've had very little.
I don't know why. And it is what it is.
Go ahead.
It is what it is, right? And for me, I judge the case based on what I know of psychology and what she went through and the different things and building up to it. So that makes it to where I see her differently where the crime is concerned. The murder was wrong, period. She shouldn't have done it. However, I can't fault her for only getting 10 years. That's on Missouri. My issue with Gypsy now is that she is showing behavior that is learned behavior of the attention seeking.
Yeah.
So that's separate, right? So she can't be pulling the wool over my eye. Molly, will you stop it and get in the blanket you can share? He's 6 pounds. Stop it. So Gypsy can't swindle me, right? It's because I'm not in that kind of relationship with her. As far as Christy, when I hear of somebody accusing Christy of something and I go to her, if she's been involved, she admits it. And when she hasn't been involved, she tells me she's not involved.
And there is a couple of things that we went and asked her about. I mean, because, there is a past history there. But she has given me no reason not to trust her on a personal level.
Christy walked away from here when when Jasmine pulled the PR thing. That was a huge deal. And in my conversations with Christy apologized to me. And she said I should have known better because she was lying about you, and I believed her even though I knew what she was telling me was a lie. So I don't know why Christy did that. She can't even explain it. I just told her she needs to quit being so fucking gullible and take her head out of the sand. And if she did it again, I was driving to cut off, kicking her ass. And then we would go have a glass of wine afterwards. But I was going to go kick her ass because she put me in a really bad position with all of that. Now she still watches. She doesn't comment. She stays kind of quiet on things because it causes problems. So, and I respect that. She's really trying to move away from all of the drama and the crap. She really
And
is.
I tell her all the time, get your head out of the sand. Get your head out of the sand, because she keeps her head in the sand. She really does.
And so now when something
happens,
she comes to me and Kendall and tells us about it, or she'll say, so-and-so reached out and this is, so we know things. She's very open with us. And so for now, I have to give her benefit of the doubt, right? Because my personality isn't going to just hold those things over people forever. Where it came to Fancy, the difference between them and the stuff with Fancy is that, Lord, how do I word this? Tori was absolutely involved in playing people against each other.
There's a lot of that's not going to make sense right now to people.
Right.
But it will. It will.
When we get to go live and share all of it, I think it'll be a little bit more clear. I'm not excusing things that Fancy has said or done that I don't agree with, because I don't agree with it, right? That hasn't changed for me.
No.
The part of me that people get frustrated with, and I know some of y'all have been frustrated with it because you've said so, and it's okay, is that I can say, like the kidnapping, I can sit here and say it wasn't kidnapping, but I can understand why she sees it as kidnapping because I've listened to her, right? And we even said something to her on the phone, and so when she explained it, Kendall was like, well, okay, I mean, I can kind of see it, but it's still the wording, And so for me, it's my personality. I'm just going to be able to take a situation and go, I can see your side and I can see your point. And
you worded that wrong though. It's not that I can see it. I can see why she can see it that way.
Right. There you go.
But I also believe that she comes up with these wild stories, and I think she's got people around her that feed into that with her, and then that gives her the momentum. And it's nothing against the people around her. I believe right now she's got some people around her that really care about her, but I believe she gets an audience that really feeds into her the wild stories, and then that just gives her the people really believe this. No, people around me, they see it too. And I don't know, like me and Brande, we don't have a problem telling each other there's no way that happened. She was telling, what was it that I was telling you one night? And you was like, no, that it just can't be that way. And I forget what it was. But we'll call each other out when something's too out in left field and say, no, and this is why. Or we'll say, did you see this? Because there's no way that, 1 and 1 can equal 3 because you're leaving out this or you're leaving out that. So I don't think she's got people around her when these stories happen that'll bring her back and say, yeah, but you're leaving out all of these facts. And with all of these facts, this can't be true.
Right.
And again,
so
that's
I
nothing
hope,
against
I
her
hope
people.
I hope that answered that question. Well, did we answer that, Amy and Rebrand? Did that? Because I know people think that I'm totally flipping my stance, and it's not that I'm flipping my stance. It's just that learning a few things and what people were behind shed some light and clarity on things. And I think, Fancy and I did have a very neat friendship years ago, and that has been tarnished and hurt severely. I don't know that her and I can ever get back to that, but I've also told her I can't do this case with her. I mean, we just can't talk about it at all. And she's respecting that. I know she's frustrated. I heard her on Morbids, and she still thinks that I'm conned by Christy, and guess what? She could be right. She could be right. Christy could be fucking with my head, right? If she is, then I'll get on here and say that. If she isn't, I'm still going to stand by that I don't think she is right now.
I don't believe she is.
I don't think she is. I mean, she's proven to us everything we've asked. So,
yeah, I don't. It will have to.
Lauren,
It will have
Lauren,
to happen to me before I will say, okay, y'all were right, and it will have to be proven to me because I know a different side of her. I'm not the OG. I wasn't here in 19. I'm not in all that crazy drama over on the other side. I just know her as.
Well, and it's like every time she gets accused of being behind something, it's like, seriously, because we know differently. But at the same time, you can't prove a negative. And I'm not going to go running around putting out Christy fires that people invent.
She wouldn't want us to either.
No,
we literally laugh. We will all three get on the phone and we'll be sitting there saying, oh, I see this video the other day. Did y'all know that you're doing this now, Christy? Or did you know that Gypsy did that? And we will all sit and literally laugh where they come up with these stories. We will have the best time laughing at these people, this Ivory Rose girl and some of these people that come up with this crazy stuff. And we'll just sit and just have the best time laughing about it because it's just so far-fetched.
Lauren says she doesn't seem to understand that people like to fuck with her just to see her go off the rails and say outrageous things. She plays right into it and gets tunnel vision. That is 1,000% true.
That's where I went with. I believe she's got people around her that feed in. She'll get this idea and then they'll feed into it. And then they'll, if you think about something long enough, you can make anything true. You can, in your head, you can make it true. And I respect and acknowledge how she feels. In her mind, that's how she really feels about this kidnapping thing. She really feels that. And there is some parts that's not public that gives her reason to feel that way. But I don't believe she can see it clearly. One, she's too close to it and it affected her life so much. And three, she's got so many people feeding into it with her and egging her on with it. And I think some, not necessarily her inner circle, but I believe there's a lot of people in that chat that they know there's no way certain things are true. There's absolutely no way certain things can be true, and they'll get her going.
Okay, so let me add this back up here. Let's get back on track. Otherwise, we'll be here till midnight. So 15 isn't on here. 15 is the one that's in the center of the back. That's the one that was on the picture I showed a while ago. And I can actually, if y'all want me to pull it back up, I can pull it back up.
I just go onto the neck.
It's on the side of the body, but it says it's diagonal, 1/2 inch of the surface, right side wound. Center of the wound is 8.5 inches below the top of the head and 2.5 inches to the right of the front midline of the body. Sharp left to the midline, sharp below and to one side. Wound direction is downward. Wound track is 1.5 inches deep, passes through skin, fat, and muscle. And it says, in association with the 6 stab wounds that penetrated into the chest, wounds 3, 5, 6, 7, 12, and 14, there were 250 milliliters of blood and clots in the right chest cavity. There were 500 milliliters of blood and clots in the left chest cavity. And there were 100 milliliters of blood and clots in the pericardial cavity. In association with the 2 stab wounds that continued through the diaphragm and into the liver, wounds 5 and 14, there was a trace of amount of blood about the liver and the peritoneal cavity. How many milliliters of blood were in the body altogether, a normal body?
I don't remember. I think it was 8. I think we decided that would be close to 8 or 9 for her because of her size.
So this is 750 milliliters of blood inside the body.
Now there's a video you're starting to play, and it's the assistant to the medical examiner, and he talks about how much was on Nicholas's clothes. So you've got what was on the bed, you've got what was in her body, or in her abdominal cavity. You have what was still in her veins and her arteries, and her nightgown is described as saturated. So if you've only got about a little over a gallon of blood in your body, where is it not accounted for? What's not accounted for?
Right. Well, and that's like when I pulled up those other pictures that I sent it to you. I'm like, here's where the other part of the damn blood is.
I mean, she had on that blue nightgown. It's a white nightgown with little blue flowers on it, and the whole top of it is literally, I mean, it's described on the stand as saturated.
Okay, so it's technically, we were wrong a while ago. It's the average adult human body contains 4,500 to 5,700 milliliters of blood.
How many pints is that?
I don't know. I was going off milliliters because that's what the thing says. That's what the report
says. Rebrand says 5. I thought
because
it was more than that.
This says here.
I'm not sure.
Let's see. We've got a total of 5, 6, 7, 850 milliliters inside the body of blood.
4.5 to 5.7, Rebrand says. Pints. Well, my friend that's a medical examiner, like I said, I could ask him blanket questions. And that was one of the things is that he said when the heart stops pumping, beside what leaks out from the wounds, that there's still blood in your veins and in your arteries.
Right. And in the tissue even.
Mm-hmm. Oh, liters. Yeah, because I was thinking it was 8 or 9 pints. I don't know why I think that. I never got to the blood. I was supposed to. It's just not enough hours in the day.
All right. So 16. Now we're on to the neck wounds because this says neck 2 stab wounds. 16. And this one isn't numbered, but it says A. So I'm thinking it's going to be this one. Back of the neck at the base of the skull. Because this one is listed at 17.
Yeah, I think I have that on the thing because then it goes through them all with A, B, C, D, E. It breaks them up.
Yeah, that top one is 17. I'm double checking on this here. I'll pull it up in a minute. Okay. All right. So to that page. You know, when I save these to my phone, it didn't save them in order. I don't know why. Because it's just not going to do anything.
Okay, so it was almost 8 to 9 or 8, almost 9 pints. Plus her size plays a role in it too.
Okay, so this wound here, it's horizontal 3/8 of an inch on the skin surface. Center of the wound is 6 inches below the top of the head and 3/4 of an inch to the right of the posterior midline. This one here. Sharp left toward the midline and sharp to the side. Direction is back to front. Wound track is 2 inches deep, passes through skin, fat, and muscle. 17, which is this one. Right side of the back of the neck and base of the skull. So it's a little more to the side at the very base of the skull. Wound is horizontal, 1.5 inches of the skin surface. Center of the wound is 6 inches below and top of the head and 2 3/4 inches to the right of the back midline of the body. Sharp left toward the midline end and sharp to the side. Wound direction is downward. Wound track is 3 1/4 inches deep, passes through skin, fat, and muscle.
Yeah, and that's the one that didn't get to the spinal cord.
Right. And then you have these. This is just a pretty deep gash here. It's 1/4 of an inch. I mean, it's not a deep gash. It's 1/4 of an inch. That's just a long, kind of like right at the jaw line of the neck. And this was just a superficial cut here on the side.
It's scratches. Yeah. And that's 17. Okay, let's do the next video.
Okay, and what are we at 7, right?
Yeah, 7.
you think it was that you were stabbing her?
Oh, geez. Maybe 5 minutes, maybe.
Okay. Okay. And did Dee ever get an opportunity to punch you or hit you or anything?
She was trying to grab onto me, but I was able to get myself free to finish.
And I think you said that she had a nightgown on or something like that.
Yeah.
Did she have any panties on?
No.
Okay. And how do you know she didn't have any panties on?
Because that's the last thing I saw before I got off of her body, and
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So was you actually physically up on her body when you were stabbing her?
Yeah,
Or was you standing on the side of the bed? Like if this is the bed and she's laying here, how were you on her? Can you show
I was not actually like on the side of her.
Okay.
I was actually on top of her, which made it a lot harder for her to resist.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you like straddling her or how is that?
That's pretty much what it was. I was actually on top of her back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you're stabbing her with one hand or two hands?
One hand.
What do we say? Okay, one hand. Okay. So was she wiggling? Like trying to get away from you or?
Yeah, she did try to put up a fight. Yeah,
Okay.
she did.
Did you tell her who you were or did you say anything to her?
Well, yeah, actually I did.
What
But
did you say?
The thing was, it was like a different form of myself, though.
Okay. It's not like how you are.
The thing is that I don't know if she told you. I don't know how much she told you about me, but the me you're talking to right now is my normal good self, and that's the reason I feel the guilt I do.
Okay.
But the one who actually did all this, the thing is, the good side of me, originally refused to do it.
Okay.
And that's the reason why it was instant that it happened right away.
Okay.
Because my evil side is what actually did it.
Okay.
His evil side is who did it.
So if everyone believes, because I hear so many people saying that Nick is going to speak and Nick says he's got a secret he's going to tell, but they want to believe that everything Nick says is truth, right? I mean, that's what we hear. Gypsy's the liar, Nick's the truth teller. Then how can any of these conspiracies from all these other people, and I'm not just talking about fancy, there's a lot of conspiracies out there. If Nick is the truth teller, and we're hearing him tell in his own words some awful things that he's having to admit, what makes anyone believe that he made all of this part up? Like, for their stories to be true, then all of this that Nick told is a lie. And I believe the boy is being brutally honest in this interrogation. Because he even says at the end of it, when she walks out, besides being honorable, what does me telling the truth going to do for me?
Right. Okay, so I think we have 2 more videos. Do we need those now?
Yeah.
Rebrand. I don't understand the question. Which did we ask a question?
I do believe he's being honest too. That's what I'm saying. There's all these conspiracies out there. I mean, I know what 10, 12 different creators that I've seen that's growing in popularity. They all have these conspiracies, and if this boy's being honest, and I believe he is being brutally honest, those
Right.
conspiracies
Alicia says he
can't
may
be
be
true.
withholding details, but that's not being dishonest. Right.
Right. And I believe, if there's no way she could have been dead before he got there, and him being truthful, because she fought back according to him.
Yeah, because there is the little cut on her finger, and it doesn't even fit to be in a defensive wound. I think that was just a nick as she's pulling away.
I just don't believe he's lying about any of this part of it. I believe the only lie he told in this whole interrogation was when him and Gypsy had agreed to tell a certain story that the detective lied about and said that Gypsy had told the truth. So Nick believing, well, Gypsy did, so I'm going to too. So, and he tells the truth.
Heather says, isn't that lying by omission though? No judgment.
I do believe that leaving things out or
I mean,
lying
yeah,
by omission is lying, but I don't believe he's leaving things out in this situation to try to fool anyone. I believe at this point he's traumatized. He's
right,
exhausted. He
right,
misses
Rebrand.
Gypsy. He wanted to still protect her, and he's still telling his truth at the time.
Right. And Rebrand
He,
says, and at that time when that detective says Gypsy's told the truth, he
yeah,
didn't know what Gypsy was saying at that point. So him telling the truth because he thinks that's what Gypsy told, that's the
yeah.
honest truth right there. I mean,
There's probably a lot of details he left out, but I don't believe he left them out for any reason except he answered her questions. She didn't just say, "Tell me what happened," and her sit back and let him tell it.
right.
She had to guide him, and I believe he answered truthfully of the questions.
All right. So here is the next video.
Yeah, he answered them truthfully.
In this photograph, would you kind of show us this overall photograph what you're talking about?
Can I step down?
Yes, sir.
And I'm playing these for entertainment and educational purposes with fair use according to terms of service.
This one's a little hard to hear.
Sorry, what, Kendall?
This is a little hard to hear. I put this one there because it talks about the white shoes.
Okay.
Left tennis shoe here is a very small red dot towards the toe portion of this. The right tennis shoe, or the front half of the shoe, there's what I would call a blood droplet. And then on the right half of the toes, there's also another, what I would say, a blood smear, suspected blood smear.
If you'll stay standing for a minute. States Exhibit 104, what are we looking at here?
This would be the right tennis shoe with just a close-up photograph of blood, suspected blood droplet, and on the right side, the suspected blood smears.
You show us the right side.
So there's be one a little bit higher up here by the laces, and then one down here towards the toes.
Now 105.
There would be suspected blood right here towards the toe. It's very small, and then there's a little bit of a remnant, a shadow in here of red and color. And it's even a closer up photograph of that. So again, here's a little dot, another red dot, and then kind of a reddish hue.
I think that's 106, that further close up.
Yep.
What is this in 116?
This was a black short sleeve shirt located in that red duffel bag. Just laid out again to overall photograph the front portion of the shirt.
Were there some things in particular about this shirt and some other clothing we're going to see from the red duffel bag that you documented?
Yes.
What was that in general?
There were some smears and stains that appeared to be reddish color, like a reddish hue that we suspected obviously experience the possibly be blood.
What are we looking at in 117?
So this would be the bottom portion of the t-shirt underneath the graphics. So specifically what I wanted to document here would be this red item here. And then it's kind of hard to see, but throughout this entire area here, there appears to be some sort of a reddish matter on the biological material. Specifically this one, hopefully we can see pretty good. And we just suspected that to be blood.
And 118?
See a little bit better here. This is the larger area of material, and then from here to here, there's a different look to it, so we suspected that as well.
So if I look up in the top right-hand corner, that's that smaller piece that we saw in the earlier photograph, correct?
Yes, correct.
States Exhibit 119, what are we looking at here?
The black zippered hooded sweatshirt, but again, what we suspected to have blood on it.
States Exhibit 120.
So this is just again a closer up version of it. I do have some orange pointers to try to designate specifically what I wanted to show. Again, we have some dried suspected blood here as well as here, and then there's just a reddish hue over here as well. That jumps out.
States Exhibit 121, what we're looking at here.
The left sleeve of that black hooded sweatshirt.
And now in 122.
And at the end of the cuff for that sleeve, there's additional dried suspected blood.
States Exhibit 123.
I classified these as black and red jogging pants that were in that red duffel bag. And towards the top half of in this area, there should be some items of interest that we wanted to document.
So the reason I put that in there is because there's been some speculation that he used two hands. The only cuff that had blood on it was the left. And there was a lot of blood on those clothes. The whole bottom of that shirt has blood on it.
Mm-hmm. All right, we have one more clip. Let me get that.
I'd like to call your attention to the early morning hours of June 15th of 2015. Were you called out to 2103 West Volunteer Way?
Yes, I was.
Can you describe what initially brought you to that location?
I was called by the sheriff's office with the information that there was a homicide at that location.
When you arrived on scene, about what time of day or night was it?
I arrived on the scene shortly before 2 a.m.
Fair to say there were a lot of police and other personnel there?
Yes.
When you first arrived on scene, what were some of the first things that you did?
I met with Detective Stanley, who was the lead investigator at the scene, got a synopsis of what was happening, that there was a deceased female, that they had gone into the residence, done their initial observations, but had not touched the body at that point. At that point, we put on protected clothing, a Tyvek suit, boot covers, gloves, photographed the external area of the scene, and then we entered through the front door of the residence.
Once you were inside the residence, what did you do?
Took photographs going through of the kitchen, dining area, living room, bathroom, and another bedroom that the door was open, and then started photographing into the room where the decedent was.
And did you later learn her name was Brande Blanchard?
Yes.
Once you were in the room where Ms. Blanchard's body was, how did you conduct your investigation?
We start from the doorway, noting the condition of the room, what lights are or aren't on, position of furniture, position of other items around the room, and then work into the body, observing the body in the position found, and with, in this case, the coverings, the bed coverings, covering most of the body.
Did you ultimately observe any injuries?
Yes. As we went up to the actual body, there were several defects which appeared from sharp injury through the back of the clothing. She was laying face down on the bed. Arms were up with hands kind of underneath her face, and there was blood saturating the back of the nightgown that she was wearing, and blood also on the bed.
Once you made those observations, then what was the next thing you did?
And then once we moved the bedding down, moved the clothing up, we did observe several apparent stab wounds across the upper back.
Now, aside from the injuries that you've talked about, was there anything else that you could determine about the condition of Ms. Blanchard's body?
Rigor mortis was passing, which takes 24 to 36 hours for rigor mortis to be firm and then start to pass after 24 to 36 hours. Her rigor mortis was passing. Her face and the dependent level of her body, the front, was very dark, and the skin was starting to slip when we moved her body, which is another indication that death had been at least 36 hours prior.
Then did you eventually make arrangements to have Ms. Blanchard's body transported for autopsy?
Yes, we rolled her over.
I don't know why the end of that one cut off. I had more than that. I don't know what happened there because I followed him all the way to where he talks about getting her to the morgue and that he was the one that weighs the body and actually took the pictures of the organs as they're removed and assisted in the autopsy. For some reason, it's a learning curve still. But anyway.
Well, and he says, this is where the time frame kicks in. He says at least 36 hours before that point. And so people were struggling. Here's the thing. It's really hard for them to get it accurate because of how long it had been and the temperature in the house. And
temperature played a big part.
Yeah.
Put up the, I know I was really interested in it. I don't know who has seen it. But remember I asked Christy for a layout of the house and then I put it through that software and
yes, and I have that. Did I
because I was wondering how the house itself was laid out. And I was a little surprised how it was laid out. I guess I assumed that you walked into the living room, but you kind of don't.
Let me close this.
And they do have a freezer. There is a freezer in the house, but it's
okay.
one of
So
those
here's
little,
the layout,
those little ones.
and Dave's at the hotel. This right here.
Did all of it not come through?
It must not have. Let's see. Let me look again.
Half of the house is cut off. Can't see the living room or the kitchen or the front porch.
Let me look and see what come through on my phone and see why. Where is it? No, that's all I have.
You can see at least the back area.
Yeah, that's all I have on it. If you'll send it again, I'll put it up.
Okay.
If you have the whole thing.
Yeah, that DeeDee's room was straight across from Gypsy's, and the bathroom is just a little
right here. Right here is the bathroom.
So how close the bathroom was to DeeDee's bedroom?
It's literally.
I mean, the bed's almost straight across to the bathroom. Yeah, let me resend it because that definitely doesn't show the whole layout. And I know I did the whole layout. Told Chase was live and he sent me a Donald Duck going to bed. I guess he's hitting the sack. Okay. I don't know why it's only showing that part. We got all this software now we got to learn to use it.
Did you tell him I resent his contract to him that he needed me to fix?
He called me yesterday morning wanting to know where it was. And I told him that she was having to do it. No, the one I've got, I guess that. Okay, let me see. I have it at the laptop. Let me see if I can pull it back up. Oh, why it only did that?
You can share it from your laptop since you're on your laptop. When you open it up.
I'm not on my laptop. I'm on my phone to. On StreamYard, I'm on the phone. I just have a laptop in front of me because I can't see comments on. This software is just amazing to me.
She was so excited to find this software. Oh, let's see. So Wednesday, I'm going to cover a case that happened in Houston 2 years ago. It's a very tragic murder of a small boy that then they abandoned him and left him in the apartment with his siblings while they went and lived up life. Yes, we're almost done, rebrand. I'm going to pull this diagram up to show the house, and then we should be done.
We might not be pulling it up. I don't understand why that's all that come through. I worked on that darn thing for hours too.
So it didn't save the whole picture?
I'm looking. Oh, wait. Here it is. Okay.
Tomorrow night, I'm going to the little wine bar that I like to go to, that my future daughter and I go to a lot. We're going to go do Game of Thrones and House of Dragon trivia. We're super excited. And we're supposed to go have sushi. There's a new, let's hope I can eat tomorrow. There's a new sushi place that opened that is one of those all-you-can-eat kind of sushi things. It's really cool. It's a brand new place. We're going to go, hopefully. I don't like going to restaurants when they first open because you never know what's going to happen and how good it's going to be, but people are raving about this one already.
So we could talk about some of the ideas that we had. My birthday's coming up, and I want to do a online birthday party with you guys and play some games. That'll be fun.
And then she bringing up these fun topics for us to have fun nights on, and she wants to talk about the spiders on Mars. Like, I want to talk about spiders. She done lost her mind.
I love these crazy news articles. That's just stuff that's just so hard to believe. And like, we can just have one night that we sit around and talk with the girls and talk about some of these crazy news articles. And I was like, like the spiders on Mars. And she's like, we ain't doing no spiders on Mars.
No. No spiders. I will have nightmares, so no.
It's not real spiders. It's gas releasing from under the ice. And come on, computer. I didn't throw you to draft. Come on. And when it releases, it breaks the ice and it makes it spider out. And from a distance, it looks like a herd of spiders. It's really cool.
That I can handle. Can't do real spiders. Nope, nope, nope. Which is funny because I want to go to Australia and they have some of the most deadliest and biggest fucking spiders in Australia, and I want to go to Australia. And I technically want to see them in a weird kind of way.
Anyway, I also know that we got some new people, and I thought about doing Ask Radio. It'd be, us giving 3 facts about ourselves and letting you guys pick which one's true. The game's got a name, but I can't remember what it's called.
2 truths and a lie, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, maybe.
1 truth and two lies and 1 truth, or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. Okay, I just sent it to you. And I thought that would be fun and let you guys participate too. Your 3 facts about y'all, or 2 lies and 1 fact about yourself, and let us guess. I don't know, just some fun stuff to do because it's not heavy all the time with the crime stuff.
Go get in your little bed over there.
We have some cases that we want to cover that's going to be really heavy, and I just thought every once in a while it'd be nice to have a night that's just fun.
Okay. Can y'all see that good? Yeah. So right here on the bottom we have the porch. So you walk in, and to the left is the living room. They have 3 wheelchairs in that living room. Let's see, I bet I can expand this. I can. So we have the 3 chairs right here, and the couch, TV over here. Is that another wheelchair sitting in that corner, or a chair?
It was a chair. There was 3 wheelchairs in the living room. But
And
as
then
you
right
come
here,
in the front door, you're looking down the hallway.
right, straight down this hallway. Right to the right of the door is the little dining area with their kitchen, a little galley kitchen.
And the
That
back
kitchen
door is right there to the
right
right,
there.
and right
There's the
over the
freezer,
sink,
one of those little
right,
bitty freezers. A little bitty
right over
freezer.
the sink is
The window.
the window, which was a 36 by 36 inch window, which he could have gotten through. It'd have been a tight squeeze, but he could have gotten through.
This here is going to be the washer and dryer. I don't know what this is. Air
It was
unit,
the
maybe?
furnace. It was the
Okay.
furnace.
This was the junk room. This is the room we've seen pictures of that looks like a hoarder lived there. Here's the bathroom, which had another wheelchair in it. These numbers are, I believe, are where there was blood, wasn't it? Or the razor and stuff.
Yeah, the little hamper right there by the tub. Yeah, that's where the razor was. And then go out, and then Gypsy and DeeDee's room was right across from each other.
Here, right here. Here's the medicine closet, the closet that had all the medicines, right here. And then here's the bedroom, which it doesn't have all the junk in it. It's just the diagram of the house. And then across that was Gypsy's room.
I had the best time doing this. I've just got to learn the software better. Anyway, I was always curious about how the house was laid out. So I asked Christy if she had it. She did have it in the files. So I took it and put it through the software and did a little bit more clear. Hey, JoJo.
Hi, JoJo.
Anyway, that's about all I wanted to cover with that, unless you had something else.
No, that was it.
And I really want to get away from
here. We're getting ready to end.
Unless something out of left field comes up, I really don't want to do any more Gypsy stuff unless it's just,
Yeah, I want to do some other things. I got that case Wednesday. I would like to do, it is Suicide Awareness Month. And I would like to talk about a story that is important to me. And it is Molly, I swear, go get in your bed. Miss little impatient little brat. Get up here. She can get up here and she's barking at me. But I also it's on the story. I want to do the story of Chris Kyle. And he didn't. I don't know if any of y'all know who that is. American soldier. He did not commit suicide, but the man who he was doing work with soldiers on mental health and suicide, and the soldier he was helping did kill him. And then I want to share an organization called Mission 22 that is for soldiers and suicide. And so, happy birthday, JoJo. By the way, that dress on TikTok was amazing. You looked beautiful.
And Chase wants us to do the Alaskan Avenger. I'm sure y'all heard about the Alaskan Avenger.
Yes. 6 heads of cabbage sitting on the counter that I need to cut up tonight. Oh, Rebrain, you can send me cabbage. I love cabbage. I can eat my weight in cabbage.
Listen, boil some cabbage and chop up some Polish sausage in it. Fry the sausage first and put it in there and just let it cook slow while the cabbage boils with the chopped up Polish sausage. It's so good. It's got a name, but I don't know what the name it is. My new son-in-law loves it.
So Miss Haven says that our diagram was wrong. We had the rooms backwards.
I'm just going by the one that Christy sent me from the case file. I don't know the house, so I only went by what Christy sent me.
I take my cabbage and make it smothered, what we call smothered or fried cabbage. And I do put butter in my pan. I cut my cabbage up like coleslaw slices and cook it in that. I like to put bacon in it every once in a while and just let it cook down. Add a little bit of water to it. And when it's good and cooked, a little bit browned up, and then I add a little bit of brown sugar to it.
I'll have to ask Christy because I want it correct. So I'll ask her. Yeah, I'll switch. It won't be no big deal to switch it. I want to make sure it's correct. That's the one that I guess the police
Drew up.
did. Yeah, because it's the one that they did is definitely done on a computer, but it was just messy and dark, so I wanted to redo it, especially since I found out this software does all this stuff.
Let me look.
But,
Hold on. That would be here.
So you're saying that the junk room and Gypsy's room was switched? I just need to switch those.
Well, I'm looking. Well, it says in the police diagram, it calls out the third bedroom and Gypsy's room is right across from the master. So going off the police diagram, I don't misbehaving. Where do you have your information from?
She got it from a lady that helped remodel the house. Well, that don't mean that was that way when the cops come in, though.
Right.
But I'll still ask, because if it's wrong, I'll definitely correct it.
Yeah, because we're going off of the police diagram from the case files.
Yeah, I'll definitely correct it. I'm sure Christy would know. She was in the house 2 weeks later, and that's something else too. Me and her had a long discussion about there was no smell, and if you know that smell, you never forget it. And she said that there was
I would like to look into scientifically why there was no smell.
Yeah. I could see why she wouldn't want to be straight across from her mom, being that, she was hiding, being on the laptop and stuff at night and those kind of things. I could definitely see why she wouldn't want to be. But all I had was the police report. And like I said, Christy was there 2 weeks later. She would have known, because Gypsy asked for certain things for Christy to get, so she would have known which one was her room. So I'll double check. Because what you're saying could absolutely be true, and then it not have been that way by the time the cops got there. They could have switched it.
All righty, guys. Well, let's call it a night. She's got to get up early in the morning, and got a lot going on.
Oh, that definitely could have smelled bad from cats. I mean,
And it is, that is something I hadn't even thought about. Misbehaving. Let me just put this up here so that anybody that's listening will see it or hear. Misbehaving says also that kitchen window, all the delicate items were still in the window still. I'm wondering if the house already smelled bad from the cats. Cat pee would definitely probably overpower a dead body.
Mm-hmm. And Christy said she stuck her hand in cat shit when she. Yeah.
So that's definitely a possibility. So, all righty, guys. Well, y'all have a good week, and we will see y'all Wednesday. And
it was a pleasure to agree and disagree with somebody.
Yep.
I like that we can have that back and forth and stay open-minded.
Yep, absolutely.
I like that. I appreciate it, ladies. I will see y'all. What are we doing? What do we got now?
Wednesday, we're doing Kendrick Lee.
Okay, Wednesday night. What time?
What time's good for you?
I've got work Thursday. Work a day, off a day, so I got work Thursday. Okay. So probably the same time as tonight, if that's okay with you.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. His case won't take that long.
Okay.
Let's do 5:30 my. No, wait. Yeah, 5:30 my time. Let's do 5:30.
Okay, that'll be 6:30 my time. That works. Yes, please hit the thumbs up, guys.
Hit the thumbs up, please, guys. We appreciate it. All right, let me get this going. There we go.